shot how many times? 9 times?
Yeah, 9 times.
And yet he was unable to kill you.
50 Cent shouldn't be alive. A Queens hitman pumped 9 bullets into him at point-blank range, and somehow he walked away.
Nobody knew what was going to happen to 50.
This is the insane true story of how 50 Cent cheated death and built an empire. To understand why Curtis Jackson, better known as 50 Cent, was shot 9 times, you've got to rewind to South Jamaica, Queens.
I was born in Jamaica, Queens, in Jamaica Hospital.
This wasn't a postcard neighborhood. It was a drug economy with a zip code.
So that's near New York. That's one of the suburbs of New York, which I imagine is a tough area, despite the fact that it's called Queens, which makes it sound kind of friendly. Yeah. And so you live with your grandmother.
I never knew my father. I never actually met him.
His mom was in the game, hustling dope until she was murdered when Curtis was just 8.
For me, I don't think I really dealt with it in the early stages, Larry, because I lost my mom when I was like 8, so I didn't really understand at that point. But later, like, they would consistently say, oh, well, she's not coming back. And I'm like, yeah, she is. Duh.
Yeah.
Like my grandfather looked at me like, hey, he really doesn't understand in the early points. But then later, you grow and you start to understand it a little more.
I didn't communicate well with the loss of my mom. I actually never really spoke to anybody about it. She was everything. She was like my mother and my father. And then my grandparents always took care of me.
From then on, his grandparents tried to raise him, but by 12, he was already bagging and flipping product himself.
And so how old were you when you got involved in selling drugs yourself?
Around 12.
12 years old. Man.
Yeah.
That's really difficult for someone from my background to understand. Yeah. It just seems like such an alien concept.
Even at 12, you still have to live by your parents' rules.
Yeah.
So there's, you can't just be out hustling. Like I had to have my grandparents think I was enrolled in an after-school program.
Well, in a way you were.
Yeah.
You had, 50, which we call him Boo Boo. Like he jumped off the porch, I would say at 12 years old. So I was 3 years behind. He was always ahead because he was 12 years old. And I remember going to the block and seeing him with the high-riser ring, little nigga, the rhinestone jacket, niggas getting money to cars on the boulevard. So that's what always impressed me. And now it's more gang culture, but before it was more the drug dealer culture.
In the late 1990s, Curtis tried to turn that street ambition into something bigger, music. With guidance from Jam Master Jay of Run DMC, he learned how to write, how to count bars, how to sound professional.
I got in the game, I met Jam Master Jay a while, 3 years ago. Yeah? Yeah, and I was signed to JMJ Records for a year. He kind of he taught me how to write in song format. Okay. So he helped me a lot.
Fifth already had money. He had a Mercedes-Benz, 17, 16. He had a 4Runner, he had a Mercedes-Benz. He had cars already. He was doing everything a rapper do, had chains, had all that already. Went around with thousands. So Jay fucked with him because he'd seen him at the club in a big-ass Benz. Know what I'm saying? And rest in peace to Jay, man.
And so by 99, Curtis had reinvented himself as 50 Cent and scored a deal with Columbia.
Why did you take the name 50 Cent?
Well, I'm named as a guy from Fort Greene Projects, but it was because I used to play video games and stuff like that. And I wouldn't ask for a chord, I want to play twice.
So it became 50 Cent.
Yeah.
His track, How to Rob, was straight trolling, listing how he jacked everyone in the industry from Jay-Z to Mariah Carey. It was ballsy, it was hilarious, and it pissed people off.
Is that the one that How to Rob an Industry Cat?
Yeah.
That they blazing on the radio station right now?
That's what's going on,
So where did the lyrics come from?
I wrote the lyrics in 45 minutes in the Hit Factory.
That's from your heart, that's how you feel?
Yeah, that's,
I grew up in New York City. I remember the disruption of How to Rob. It was the first disruptive, in my opinion, it was the first disruptive rap record I'm gonna connect it to something very weird, but do you remember the Blair Witch Project, that movie that came out, where we didn't know if it was a real project or not, right? And you had to go to the movie theater because you're like, this is so fucking different. I've never.
Nah, it's crazy. Yeah, and it was like, it wasn't very expensive, Blair Witch, neither.
And that was part of the charm because you're like, yo, it might be. That's what I felt How to Rob was. The energy was like, what the fuck is going on?
Then came Ghetto Quran. This wasn't simply a catchy rap song, it was closer to an expose describing Queens' criminal world and directly mentioning Kenneth Supreme McGriff, airing his dirty business for everyone to hear.
In the culture, it was almost taboo for you to say someone's name.
Yeah. And you said everybody's name.
For fans, it was wild, like listening to a documentary set to a beat. But for Supreme and his people, it was snitch talk. 50's art had crossed a line, and now it had painted a bullseye on him. Meanwhile, 50 was also beefing with Ja Rule and Murder Inc. Keep also in mind that Queens was a small circle, and Supreme was plugged straight into Murder Inc., even rumored to be financing the label with drug money. Anyway, thing is, 50 and Ja started beefing over a stolen chain.
A dude that I knew, that I fucked with, from Southside, came home from jail. Came on my block one night, seen me on my block one night. He pulls out the burner on me. So now I'm shocked, you know what I'm saying? Because I know this, like I know him, I fucks with him. So now I'm shocked. So he pulls the burner on me. It's like, yo, you holding, you strapped? I'm like, nah, I ain't got nothing on me right now. You pat me, whatever.
You gave him the chain?
Of course. I said, yeah.
There's a gun in your face?
They got a gun on you, nigga. The nigga with the gun, you know what I'm saying? It's the winner, nigga.
Yeah.
Hands down. The guy with the gun won. You know what I'm saying? All right, yeah. You got the gun, all right, yeah, nigga. Take that, hold on to that, nigga. Okay. Not a problem. You know what I'm saying?
All good.
So now, he runs off down the block.
One story is that 50 robbed Ja Rule's man for a watch or a chain or something like that.
No, Ja Rule got robbed by Troy from Baisley. This nigga from the project, and 50 was cool with him, and that's how it kind of like all started.
So anyway, so I guess the story got back in the hood of what happened, and so 50 used that as his end to have something to say about me. You feel what I'm saying? Okay. But it had nothing to do with him. Like, I didn't even know you know this dude. You know what I'm saying? His story is, I seen him with Troy out and about, and I got mad at him. Like, nigga, you had nothing to do with it. Why would I get mad at the guy next to the guy? You understand what I'm saying? Like, his stories just don't add up. They just don't make sense. But to an outside source looking in, listening, it's like, oh shit, this, you know, people they don't know what to believe, so they believe. Oh.
By early 2000, 50 had made enemies on both sides. Rappers with egos and gangsters with guns. A dangerous combo, and all that tension was ready to explode.
Me making my stats, and if you see me on an alley,
On the afternoon of May 24th, 2000, 50 Cent drove to his grandmother's home in South Jamaica, Queens. This was the house where he had grown up, and his grandmother was outside tending to her garden when he arrived. After greeting her, 50 retrieved some jewelry from inside and got into a car driven by a friend. Then another vehicle pulled up, and from the passenger side, a man stepped out, pulled a gun, and without a word, unloaded a torrent of bullets straight into 50 Cent's vehicle.
Right behind me is my grandmother's home. I came out like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, May 24th. She was bent over, actually planting flowers in the garden, and I walked over here to sit in the actual vehicle that my friend was waiting for me in, and the car pulled up. On the side of us, a guy got out the passenger seat of that car, came around behind it, and shot through the actual car.
By the time the gunman fled, 50 Cent had been hit 9 times.
I got, shot 9 times, but it was one time. So, and I just didn't see the person coming, or I would have avoided it.
Yes, you would. You would.
This happened, and
A bullet passed through his left cheek, breaking a tooth. Another struck his right hand, shattering it. Bullets tore into his arm, hip, and both legs, breaking bones. One even entered his chest, stopping dangerously close to his heart.
Took a lot of leg shots, hand shots, and a face shot.
Amazingly, and almost cruelly, 50 Cent stayed conscious through all of it.
Pain-wise, how bad is it to get shot in the face? Like, I mean...
Probably... I don't know how to describe that outside of...
Is it a 10 on the pain scale?
It's not really like, because it's not as painful as having to visit the dentist repeatedly for root canal.
Really?
In the aftermath, his friend, despite being injured himself, managed to drive them away, racing to Jamaica Hospital.
I had a gun, yeah, we had guns in the car. I backed up, I said, yo, the fuck, I was gonna go back to shoot. But he was already hurt, and Shorty was like, yo, take him to the hospital, take him to the hospital. So I took him to the hospital.
Do you think you're dead at that point when you take 9 bullets? Do you go, oh, this is it, I'm checking out?
Well, you know it's a life-threatening situation. It's just not... I've seen people going to the hospital under circumstances that were way less intense and not come out.
Yeah, it's a miracle you live.
Did you feel the first one or the 9th one?
I don't even know. I didn't know my legs were broke.
Really?
When I tried to get out the car at the hospital, both of my legs were broke. Like I broke in 3 places on this side, and then...
Did you go with him to the hospital?
Nah, I went to the hospital and he didn't want to see nobody.
Okay. He was there for 13 days.
Yeah, he didn't want to see nobody.
Doctors quickly rushed 50 into emergency care. He had lost a significant amount of blood and one of his lungs had collapsed. Over the next 13 days, he underwent surgeries and procedures to stabilize him and repair the damage. But some bullet fragments were too dangerous to remove and remained in his body permanently.
Because you got to remember, rest in peace to 50 grandma. She was heavy in the church. We go to his house, they got the church, the Sunday cakes. I think because of her, he's alive. Because I'm a big believer in God. If you can believe in whatever you believe in, but I believe in God. But
did you think you were like Jesus had saved you or something? Like, did you have a religious? Where were all
these bullets?
Well, yeah, you have those moments where you get a little closer connection to your higher power because you kind of don't have an answer.
But where were all these bullets?
Chaos. Certain people say, you get shot here, right? He got shot in his mouth. You're like, that's inches, right? This is just me talking, everybody. It's not a thing, but who saved him? People be like, God. Your first thing is, yo, God saved this guy. Maybe the devil, maybe Satan saved him. Because he's a great engine of chaos. I don't think God would save somebody who...
When he was finally discharged, his recovery was far from over. His jaw had been wired shut, his tongue was badly swollen, and speaking was difficult.
You can see the...
Oh yeah, look
Inside?
at that. Yeah, look at that. Guy knocked it. Man, imagine getting shot in the head.
The altered tone of voice that would later become his trademark, the slightly slurred nasal delivery, was a direct result of that cheek wound.
I got hit a few, most of them in the legs. I got hit in my hand and I got hit in the face. So like the fragment portion of it is in my tongue. So it kind of changed the way I speak a little bit. Like.
And you're rapping as well.
Yeah.
What is it still in your tongue?
Can you see it?
Yeah, it's great for oral sex.
Is it?
For 6 weeks, 50 Cent hobbled around like a pensioner, leaning on a walker just to move across a room. Paranoia followed him like a shadow.
So just after...
Which one was it for you?
There was a point that I was afraid.
Afraid?
Yeah, following that, actually being shot, I was afraid because everybody involved in the situation was still physically available to
shoot
just
you again.
go to part 2.
Yes.
Yeah, to just do it again. And then it was like...
On the streets, the word was that the shooter was a Brooklyn stick-up kid and hitman named Daryl Homo Baum. Homo was short for homicide, and the guy had once been Mike Tyson's bodyguard and close friend. 50 didn't need a detective to tell him who pulled the trigger. The hood talks fast, and he pieced it together almost immediately, but he never told the cops.
Yeah, I knew who did it shortly after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are now where?
Oh, the guy who actually shot me is dead.
Allegedly, in 2005, federal documents confirmed what had long been rumored. Kenneth Supreme McGriff, the powerful Queens drug lord, had allegedly ordered the hit on 50. According to investigators, Supreme was angered by 50's lyrics in Ghetto Quran, which referenced him by name. So he arranged for Daryl Baum to carry out the shooting. Yet Baum's story ended quickly. Less than 3 weeks after the attack, he was killed in a separate conflict in Brooklyn. He was shot in the back of the head, reportedly over a drug dispute.
You say the guy who shot you is dead now, right?
Yeah, he's dead.
How did he die?
Same thing.
Somebody shot him?
Yeah.
For some, it was karma, while others saw it as the inevitable outcome of a violent lifestyle. Mike Tyson, who was close friends with Baum, publicly dedicated his next fight to him and even offered a reward for information on his murder. As for Supreme McGriff, in 2007, he was sentenced to life in prison, not for the 50 Cent shooting, but for other federal charges, including murder for hire and drug trafficking. By the time he could walk again, 50 didn't care about courtrooms or cops. He wanted payback, but not with bullets. He'd already learned how that game ends and decided his music would be the answer. The industry, though, wanted nothing to do with him. His shooting was splashed all over the papers, and suddenly the same labels that had chased his talent treated him like toxic waste. Columbia Records had him signed. Then the shooting happened, and they panicked. They cut him loose, scared of the gang war circling his name. Overnight, 50 went from rising star to radioactive. Across New York, studio owners were warned not to work with him, and many were too afraid to let him in. According to an IRS affidavit, this pressure came directly from Kenneth McGriff's crew. So 50 looked elsewhere. In 2001, he traveled to Canada, where he could still access recording studios without fear of intimidation. It was a strange contrast, a Queens rapper forced to record mixtapes in Toronto because his own city had shut him out. There, and in any underground studio he could find, he worked non-stop. He personally hustled mixtapes from his car, making sure they reached listeners directly.
Nobody knew what was going to happen to 50 at that point. Like, you know, shit got quiet, it died down. 50 came back, he hit the mixtapes, he did all the G-Unit stuff. Like, you know, 50 he hit the streets. All the mixtape DJs, everybody.
One mixtape in particular, Guess Who's Back, found its way to Eminem.
And Eminem, he had got his hands on a copy of a mixtape that I put out.
Eminem, already a superstar, was stunned by the realism, the hunger, and the brutality in 50's music. So him and Dre flew 50 Cent to Los Angeles, signed him to a $1 million deal, and immediately got to work on his debut album. In February 2003, 50 Cent released Get Rich or Die Tryin', which debuted at #1 on the Billboard charts, selling almost 1 million copies in just 4 days.
When we first heard In the Club, you know, the Wankster record, it was a snazzy tune, but, you know, it was nothing. We were so heavy making these big
Look, God, he's so cool. Look at this shit.
We were so heavy making
big
ass records. It was like, yeah, it's a snazzy tune, but who cares, right? People start mumbling to me, yo, he's with DRE. And DRE, I respect, like, he's the best producer, in my opinion, of all times. Of all times, he's ill. So I was like, shit, right? And then we was all in my office, Worldwide Plaza. Rule was in the office. We was in there having a good time. And here comes Flex at 7 o'clock. I got the new. So he said, all right, let's listen. Let's listen to it. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, oh God, fucking Dre, right? So boom. So then, no, but wait a minute, you're bringing it back. So I'm like, all right, the beat is fucking nuts. He may have one, but let's see if he connected the dots lyrically. He may have not have connected the dots lyrically. You can find me in the. I'm like,
this is it.
I turned to Rule and everyone in the office, and I said, yo, buckle up. We have a major problem.
This guy's hot.
This record, and he's with Jimmy Iovine, Dr. Dre, and fucking Eminem. We have a problem.
Now,
The album cover featured 50 standing shirtless behind shattered glass, a direct reference to his shooting. He leaned into the narrative with humor and strategy, later releasing a video game and starring in a semi-autobiographical film. Both extended the mythology of his story into new arenas. Meanwhile, through brutal diss tracks and public jabs, he also dismantled the reputation of Ja Rule and his crew.
Let me tell you that like clever moves going on behind the scenes, like what happened with my shit. Get a call from MTV. We don't think it's a good idea that you guys come to the awards this year because we're gonna have, Dre and M, and they, they're feeling like, it may be a little something and they don't feel safe if y'all are there. Yeah, so okay, so we gotta take that hit, you know what I'm saying?
See, the problem with Ja Rule and 50 is that 50 slowed him up to where before that, Ja Rule was the Drake of the term with all the hits.
Okay, that's what you be. Okay.
So what I'm saying is,
eventually, all the people that once posed the greatest threat to him were sidelined, while 50 Cent kept rising to global stardom. He came up in a world where pressing the wrong button could earn you a death sentence. He pressed every button. I mean, the guy literally pissed off drug lords, and somehow he still survived.
But 9 times? I mean, this was a bad shot.
Yeah, this was...
Guy hit you in all the wrong places.
Yeah, it was just a lot of flesh wounds.
A lot of flesh wounds. Like he was out to kill you, though, not to scare you.
Yeah.
And he hit you 9 times, and yet he was unable to kill you.
Absolutely.
Not the kill shot.
When your time comes, you're going to go, but...
I have the resilience to go against anybody. Like, there's nobody that's too ill.
Today, 50's story is hip-hop scripture. 9 slugs, blood everywhere, grandma watching from the garden. That's horrific, life-altering trauma. And yet 50 turned it into a brand. The bullet through his cheek gave him a distinctive voice. The constant danger became part of his image. Even when the industry turned its back on him, he rebuilt himself through mixtapes and constant hustling.
Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest tonight is an Emmy and Grammy award-winning rapper, producer, and entrepreneur. He has just written a new novel, The Accomplice. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
Today, he's a media mogul, a global rap star, a TV producer, and a successful entrepreneur. 9 bullets should have ended Curtis Jackson's story, but instead, they wrote the first chapter of 50 Cent's empire.